Why, hello everyone, it's January 11th, episode 8 of the News as I See It. Okay, up first we have the follow-up article to Bo Hyman's basically study of can the Chromebook be a gaming machine. It's pretty interesting. He lists a whole bunch of games he's been trying out to see if he actually thinks it's a viable machine. And a lot of these games look really interesting. I haven't seen a lot of them, and I'm probably going to go check them out at the very least on my PC to see if these are games that would actually be worth getting a Chromebook on its own for. But, if you can also get all the other games in the Chrome store, like Cut the Rope and all the games you play on your iPhone, playing them on a full-size screen is always a viable option. So up next we have Minecraft sales. 15 million sales in 2012. Holy cow. Now, the real numbers that are kind of astounding is the estimated sales are in the $250 million range in terms of actual dollars. So $250 million basically is what total Minecraft sales is sort of translating into. Holy hell, 250 million is that's a lot of cheddar. It's a lot of cheese. That's a lot of dollar cheeseburgers at McDonald's. Gonna be eating pretty well with all those dollar cheeseburgers. Now, Minecraft is almost not really come and gone, but the news isn't really a big deal anymore. It's here. It's a fixture, but it's still selling like hotcakes because you don't want a cold cake. So it's not going anywhere. That's a fact because pretty much everyone owns it, and I guess every time someone's born, someone buys them the game. I don't understand how they're still selling copies. It's astounding that some people don't know what it is. But I guess in the next few coming years, it'll be such a fixture, it'll be along the lines of something like Lego, where everyone will know what it is. I can't believe 15 million in the last year alone, and $250 million in revenue. Even though I'm a little worried about Gabe Newell's sort of distaste for Windows 8 and his love for Linux, because I'm kind of loving Windows 8 right now. I don't know it from the developer side, and I also don't want to use Linux. From what I've heard, it's a hassle I don't want to have to deal with. But at the very least, he has amazing ideas. He really does. I really love Steam. I like the idea of the Steam box. And as I've been saying lately, and as he's saying right now, big companies won't stay relevant. And that's obvious. Companies like EA, they're not going to be doing too well. They're sort of stealing a little off the top from creative game devs, stifling creativity, try and turn an extra dollar. It's just not going to work. It's big business America, corporations stifling a creative market. It's just not going to work. It never will. You look at Call of Duty games, you look at anything from BioWare lately, it's all been stifled to the point where there's no spark, man. It's just ashes. Just sweep it up, man. The wind's going to come and take you away. And then you have all these big, huge Kickstarter games coming out. They all look pretty awesome. Even games like Terraria, Minecraft, you have all these like sort of indie experiences where the graphics just aren't there. They're almost just totally retro or basic. But the gameplay is there. The heart and the drive and the spark is there. They're worth playing. And a lot of these big AAA titles with the most realistic renders that have ever existed, they fall flat and they're boring. Like Crysis 2, Crysis 1 was awesome. And then you made a sequel. You always just gotta make a sequel. And they're like never good, ever. It's a real shame. I'm just gonna be keeping my eye to all these Greenlight games and all these indie games and Kickstarter games, because that's where all the good games are actually gonna be coming from. So I'm pretty much already totally over everyone blaming guns for violent activity. I was over it when Mortal Kombat was around, basically. However, Biden had a meet and greet with a bunch of game industry big wigs, and they pretty much came to no conclusion about anything. However, it's the news. It's keeping you informed of this story. Hopefully, you can keep reading all these stories, stay informed, and on the weekly wrap-up, we'll be able to cover this in a lot more detail. There's just not enough time in the day to cover this stuff on a daily news. So the creators of, Alice Returns, American Mcgee, is making a new game. It's Akaneiro, Demon Hunters. It looks pretty cool. I skimmed over it, not really paying attention to it. I didn't realize it was going to be a Kickstarter game. I thought it was going to be another EA game, so I was kind of like, meh, whatever. But it's a Kickstarter game, which means it's probably going to be awesome, and I'm pretty excited for it. It's, the Kickstarter is raising 200K for porting it to the various, iOS and Android and all the different, applications and consoles and things. And then they're also, needing for compatibility between them all. So they need all that money to make it happen, and I'm okay with that. Again, Kickstarter, it's where it's at. The guys' games look awesome. The Alice Madness Return game is super interesting looking. Not really my style of gameplay, or I don't know, like playing Alice doesn't really interest me. But the game looks amazing. There's no questioning that, or it looks original. And then this game looks really cool. I just had seen this and skimmed over it and didn't realize it was an actual Kickstarter game. So you have me intrigued, sir. Show me more. Okay, so in terms of sales today, there's still pretty good ones. It's not really the THQ sale, but we have Saints Row, the Alice games, Alice Madness Returns, and then the Darksiders franchise. Each one of these, you get everything, and it's under 15 bucks. Oh, each one is under 15 bucks. So for 45, you could get, all of the titles. Pretty interesting. The Saints Row one alone, it's $12.50. So $12.50 for all the Saints Row. I'm sure I've spent upwards of, I don't know, 70 bucks on all the DLC for day one access. Paying about 13 bucks is a pretty sweet deal. And Saints Row the Third alone, it's one of the best games I've ever played. It's hilarious, it's very smooth, and it is utterly rewarding. But that's pretty much it for today. That is the news as I see it. Today's been a little bit of a dry day, but that's okay because we have plenty of to talk about on Sunday for the weekly wrap-up. As always, there's no news tomorrow, but on Sunday is the live podcast on my YouTube channel. Feel free to come tune in, or you can always watch the recording afterwards. But that's it for the news as I see it. If you have any news tomorrow or on Sunday, make sure to get it to us early, by early Sunday, so we can try and tie it into the show if we're going to. You can tweet it at me at Algol Gaming, or at Algol's News, or hashtag Algol's News, or you can try and leave it in the comments, but you should really try and tweet it at one of those names, and we'll try and tie it in for the weekly wrap-up. So I won't see you guys tomorrow, but feel free to catch up on any past episodes from this week to, know what's going on in the weekly wrap-up, but we'll try and keep you informed either way. But that's it, and I'll see you guys on Sunday.